Episode 228. Today we're going to be talking about a game preview in tonight's matchup between the Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets. And we're we're back with NHL hockey now after the Four Nations finale unwinded on Thursday night, and how that whole situation played out was really interesting. And obviously a lot of players are going to be potentially dealing with some injuries. They're going to be dealing with some lingering issues and just the general fatigue, I would say, heading into these games today. But when you look at it from an overall standpoint, I think with Chicago's side, they have a little bit more of the luxury, seeing as they only have one guy who is at the Four Nations and he didn't play that many games there. And then it'll be interesting to see how these guys adapt after a few weeks off as well, and being able to have that time off and how they come back and how they play the final stretch of the season. We have the trade deadline coming up in 2 weeks from now, and there's some other things coming up just a little bit in a shorter amount of time as well. So with this game tonight, obviously we're gonna be looking at Connor Bedard. I think that's the interesting one to watch tonight is how he plays coming off the break, how he plays and how his feet are moving, how he's moving the puck, how he's zipping plays around, and how he's able to manage the tempo of the game that way. And I don't think there's going to be many issues. There might be a few hiccups at the start of the game, and we occasionally see that, especially after these long breaks. But I think when you're talking about Connor Bedard, you're going to be getting a guy who can still make plays every single shift throughout this game, and still can be very reliable for you on the offensive side of the puck, and making plays and being reliable in transition, being active in transition. And outside of that, I think Nick Foligno's in for a big game tonight, and obviously playing against his former team. He played there for a long time. He was the captain of the team. He has brought a lot to the Columbus organization, so it's going to be great for him tonight. I think he's got at least a goal or two in him, I would say, because not only playing his former team, but it's going to be the extra motivation of trying to beat them instead. And it's going to be interesting to see how that situation plays out. And then I would say in the back end, we'll just go about three or four guys per side here. I think Alex Vlasic, I think when you're talking about defensemen, transitional D who can be reliable up and down the ice, Vlasic covers a lot of ground, very reliable, very steady, very good as a shutdown defenseman, and has contributed offensively even better than he has last year. So that's a really positive sign to see. I feel like his game has continued to get better year by year so far. The development has looked better, and he just looks way more comfortable defending top guys and shutting down those top guys pretty regularly. And then on Columbus' side, I believe he's playing tonight too. Kirill Marchenko, after being out with a broken jaw just a few weeks ago, and he'll be back. And I was honestly surprised to see him get activated off IR so quickly. I know that he was supposed to be out a little bit longer originally in anticipation. And I think with getting Marchenko back now while he's still somewhat fresh is really important, because he's been their most dynamic offensive player throughout the season thus far. So fun to watch. So fun to watch in transition, off the rush. I feel like coming into the league, what's really interesting with him is how he had more of a solid defensive base, a solid two-way game, and above average offensive ability. But I think now the thing that jumps off the page at you the most is his borderline elite level offensive play. I hope he continues to bring this to Columbus in years future too, because the way he's playing now, he's making Columbus a really exciting team to watch. And Columbus, they haven't been known for too many stars and having too many stars in the past, but Kirill Marchenko is definitely turning into one of those. Really electric to watch, really exciting to watch, and just a player I'm looking forward to watching if he does play again tonight. Zach Werenski coming off the Four Nations. He was the leading scorer at the Four Nations, and I believe it's 6 points in 4 games. Just was unbelievable for US, and I'm gonna be curious to see how he plays tonight, how his game translates back to Columbus. And I feel like for him, just being younger, on the younger side of things, slightly younger, and the reps that he has, how he covers the ground on top of the ice a lot in terms of his skating movement. and how effortless he makes it look. I feel like he's going to adapt a lot quicker than some of these other guys from the Four Nations tournament. I just envision him being a guy that can be, you can play him 30 minutes and he'll still be fine. It'll be like almost nothing happened. So I think with Zach Greinke, Columbus is going to be fine tonight, and he'll be really fun to watch as well, of course. And then as for one more, I think Adam Fantilli. I think him playing against the team, obviously he played with Connor Bedard at the World Juniors in 2023, and then he played for the Chicago Steel a few years prior. So he's somewhat familiar with the Chicagoland area, and so playing against a Chicago team in the NHL is what I was trying to say. But with Fantilli, just brings a lot of speed. His game is really ramped up. I would say the last quarter bit of the season. The first bit of the season, he was kind of slow. It was kind of hard to figure out what he was going to be, what he was going to do. He was dealing with some injury issues early on, but now I feel like his game is really ramped up. He's gotten a lot more trust from Dean Evison, and he's looked more comfortable in a lot of different situations as well.